Hello, welcome to Studio Talks. My name's James Swift.
I'm Josh McNorton, and our guest today is...
I am Mr. Ray Gunn.
Hey Ray, you okay?
I'm very well, thank you very much. And yourself?
I'm alright, I'm good. Yeah.
Good.
I enjoy how you say surviving every time, by the way, Josh.
Well, we're still in lockdown, aren't we? So until after lockdown, when I can do stuff, I'm mentally surviving. That's what I mean by it, just mentally surviving.
With lockdown in mind, how are you doing in lockdown? And do you have any advice for anyone, Ray?
I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. It's nice to have a day off. I've not had a day off in 2 years. It's a bit of an extreme measure to go to get a day off, but it's been enjoyable. Keeping very busy, making music, making fun things, just building random stuff I can find, and watching far too much TV. It's great.
Yeah, I'm watching so much TV. It was fun at first, but now I'm just like, I'm over it.
See, yeah, I started off binge watching films and TV, and slowly I've just started doing the actual work, stuff,
real things.
Things.
I feel like Tiger King was a long time ago now.
It was.
Yeah, that was the start of lockdown, wasn't it?
That's what got everybody through. The first 2 or 3 weeks, everybody was happy watching Tiger King, and now everyone's kind of like, oh no, what do we do?
I also think it's funny Disney Plus happened the week of lockdown.
I like that. Everybody has been talking about the Mandalorian and stuff on Disney Plus, and I hadn't had time to watch it. There just wasn't time. And then I've finally caught up on everything, and I've avoided spoilers for so much stuff. And now I'm like, yay! I can talk to people again.
I thought that. I literally, when I finished Mandalorian, I was like, good, I can finally understand what the people I follow on YouTube are talking about.
What's your history with the studio?
My history with the studio? God. So this is a very long time ago now. I was 12 when I first started going to the studio. I basically just loved music. Always loved music. Always loved anything loud and good. And there was a thing back then called Fused, which was for young people to get involved in making music. And I had this thing, I always wanted to be a drummer. And I went along and somebody put a guitar in my hands. And I was like, I don't want this. And here I am at 32 and I own more guitars and I've had hot dinners. I've been around the world. I've got a degree in music, and it's all because somebody put a guitar in my hands at the studio. And I think I've played 1 gig as a drummer, and that's it. So I've still never really realised that dream, but everything else has happened because of the studio and having guitars and rock and roll as part of my life.
It's funny you say about drummer, because I have a picture, I drew a picture in year 6. The first ever musical thing I ever wanted to do, I drew a picture. They said, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I wrote, be a drummer, and drew a drum kit. And I think I've been on a drum kit twice in my life, 3 times maybe.
I think it's a really primal thing. I don't know, just to knock the living hell out of something and count to 4 at the same time. It's really, that's what you got to do.
So, in terms of metronomes, because one of the things that you did was, you was quite a big part of metronomes.
Yeah, so the metronomes thing kind of happened by accident. Well, my involvement in it did. The rest of it was very unbelievably well planned and put together by you guys at the studio. It was a crazy project. Even if you came up to me and said, we're doing this, I'd have probably laughed at you and said, you can't do that. Because it was just getting that many people involved in something, and it was so open, and that was what I really liked about it. So when I first got involved, I was just coming to hang out on, I can't remember what night it was an evening, and I just booked a practice room just to go make some noise. And then they were like, oh, we need a bass player, do you mind doing this? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come and quickly play on a bass and join in. And then I came back a week later, and they were like, oh, we need a guitar player now. So I played guitar in a couple of rehearsals. And then about a week before the actual show, somebody that was playing piano couldn't make the actual performance of it. And it ended up on me to play the piano. However, the problem being I didn't know how to play a piano. And it took me I think I had 2 weeks to learn to play. And the only songs I can still play on a piano are the songs that we did in the show.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I know four chords, that's it.
Yeah. I find that weird with piano, because it's the only songs I've never bothered to learn any other songs than 2 I was taught how many years ago, Jim? I find that weird.
It was a great show though. It was a really great way to get local community involved in something as well. And there was no pressure involved, being part of the band and playing the songs that the people in the audience had written.
Mm.
You know, usually it's the other way around, in that the people who wrote them songs are the ones on the stage,
Mm.
but you're performing their songs back to them. It was really weird. It was really good. It's nice to have been a part of that.
Yeah. It was definitely a different arrangement. Like, it was almost like, this is how we would do your song if we had done it, if we had wrote it. I thought that was a really cool experience.
And to have come up with a story somehow that mixed all of the songs, you know, from people that, you know, they didn't write the songs for the musical sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And to somehow string together a story from it was amazing. It was a great thing to be a part of. Really, really great thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Very proud to have been.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the first Metronome, but everyone talks about it. Like, I was there for the second one.
The second one was just as good, I think. It was good.
It was good, yeah.
Really good day, that one.
Catalyst, that was a bit that was my comfort zone.
It was boiling as well. It was absolutely boiling,
so
wasn't it? Like, at the top of it, it's basically, you know the Catalyst, don't you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you know, I've lived around here all my life. I've never been in the Catalyst.
No, this was the first time I'd been, but like, we just
like twice in my life.
Top of the very, very top. It was as hot as could be, and we've all just kind of
just a glass room, basically.
Yeah.
Just a big greenhouse.
Yeah, it was awful. What's your history with music?
Yeah, so it started at the studio. Like, I was never that bothered about playing music. I just wanted to be around it. Like, I love listening to music. I always loved listening to music. And it's only when somebody gave me a guitar and was like, right, try and play this thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And it kind of just went from there. And then it just took over, like, the need to learn and get good at it. You know, you'd go there and somebody would be a better guitar player than me, and that would annoy the living hell out of me. And that they could write a better song than I could, so then I had to go home and work on that. And then next week I'd turn up and be like, oh yeah, but you can't do this. And it just went like that, on and on and on. And then it was like, we started getting into bands and stuff with each other. We made friends that had similar interests in music. And it was just a great little community of people. I mean, I'm still friends with most of the people that we hung around with then, which, I mean, now, like, you're talking like nearly 20 years ago, and we all still see each other and still talk about the gigs that we did there. I mean, we were 15, 16 years old, and that place was sold out, full of people. And it's just crazy to think of it like that, like at that age, to play a gig where there's 400 or 500 people in a crowd. I mean,
that must have been like a mad experience for that age.
Yeah, definitely.
It's addictive, definitely addictive, and that's what sent me on this crazy journey of my life.
So, in terms of music, would you like to talk about your new band?
My new band? Oh yeah, what a surprise! Yeah, so just before all the lockdown stuff started, I got asked to go and play bass for, it's Jenny Colquitt who's sort of asked me to join this group, and she was telling me that she was working on this new project, and it featured people. There's James Michael was in there, Josh Roscoe, Ian Ford, and these are all people that I knew from like the local scene, but I'd never worked with properly. And so even the idea of just being in a room and hanging out with them and, you know, having a quick jam was like, yeah, I'll do that. I was really excited. And then we had one practice as a full band, and then the government said, nah, sorry, like, everybody go home.
It's too good. It's too good.
But it's a really exciting project with these great musicians again, like absolutely phenomenal musicians. And then to be asked to go and work with them has been the greatest honor. And I'm very excited to hopefully do some gigs at the studio with them. Just sort of show what we can do, because we're all people that have been massively involved in what the studio is, and to sort of come together as this like weird little local group of people that have all been in different bands that have been a part of it. So I'm very excited for that. It's called Elysian. I realise I haven't mentioned the name of the band.
I was just about to ask. I mean, the members of the band, as you was listening, that sounds like a really good lineup altogether. So I mean, to put them all together sounds really, really good.
It's dangerous.
So how do you personally write songs?
Oh God. So it's hard to explain, because my solo music, my band music, and then my sort of, I don't know what you call like session music, is all really different stuff. So for me personally, I write a lot of songs based in sort of like a rockabilly and psychobilly genre, and it's all just horror movies that I've watched, but then put to music. And it's all monsters and creatures and just weird stuff that's going on. And I only write that really because nobody else has written the song I want to listen to. And then when I work with a band, it's about being what's right for that band. So I was part of a punk band called Hooligan UK, and writing for them was very much writing in a theme and writing sort of stories that were based around what the records were about, which was mainly like going out and partying and drinking and, you know, being a football hooligan. For me, it was rugby, a big rugby fan, and going and, you know, having away days and stuff like that with all your mates, and, you know, you're drinking on the bus. I don't drink, but I could really sort of like relate to what was going on with it. And it kind of comes that way. So I guess it's the way I write is just a commentary on what's going on. So whatever I see then gets put into the song and into the music and just comes out that way.
So how does it differ from writing as a band? Does that make sense?
So as a band, for me, because I'm generally a bass player within a band, it's more about fitting what is right for the feel of the song rather than the subject of the song, if that makes sense. So if somebody comes to me with lyrics and a general idea of where they want to go with the story of it, then the feel is where, for me, that's what bass is. It's an instrument that, like, it gives the mood and the timbre of it all together, and it kind of holds everybody else together on it. You've got to be the rock in the middle of it all. It's up to you. If you want people to bounce, it's on you. If you want them to chill out, it's on you.
There was a guy in college who got incredibly annoyed one day when someone else was saying that bass is for lazy people, because there's that joke, isn't there, saying that bass is for lazy people, and he got really, really annoyed over it.
With the bass, you've got to take it as a different thing. It's like, people do call it like a lazy guitar, but I think the limitation of having them 4 strings is where you've got to be creative. You can be lazy with it, of course you can be lazy with it. If you want to be doing something that's interesting and make people listen to it and go, wow, like, it just makes sense. It does for me anyway, maybe not for everybody else, but I have a good time doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all that matters then, really, innit? Just having a good time.
Exactly, yeah.
How did you start Ray Gunn's Chop Shop?
Yeah, like, my alter ego from the music is that I'm a hairdresser and barber, which is what the Chop Shop is.
I think it was like the week after. I think it was like, in my head, I don't know if it was, but in my head it was the week after Metronomes, and you said, I'm doing the Ray Gunn's Chop Shop, and I was like, what? Like, it was like such a like.
Again, like, the studio was a massive part in that. So I've been training to be a barber for a while, like a couple of years ago now, and I was training for about 2 years, and I was cutting people's hair out of my garage at the back of my house. And this weird, just a chance conversation with Louise, and she was like, oh, you can come cut hair here? And I was like, why would I do that? Like, why would I want to cut hair in a music venue? And it just made sense. It was like, through like the bazaars and the record fairs and stuff. And she was just really positive in this thing and was like, if you set up, somebody's going to want a haircut.
Definitely, yeah.
And like, yeah, okay, that totally makes sense. And so we did the first one, and honestly, I did not stop from like the second the door opened, and I missed everything. Like, people were playing and singing, and I really wanted to watch them. There was like some art performances and theatre performances, and I didn't get to watch them.
There was one bit where you was halfway through cutting mine, and you said, do you mind if we stop so we can go and watch this performance? And like, throughout the performance, you'd constantly be looking over me going, just gotta cut that bit. You still got a little bit there. I'm like, yeah, just watch the.
It was funny, like, trying to cut people's hair, and like, obviously the clippers are on, and there'd be somebody giving like this really dramatic poetry reading, and then there's just a buzz of clippers. From there, it gave me such a confidence boost of like, this will work. And like, my style of hairdressing, because I love like the old school styles. I love the old sort of 50s looks. I love people having like greasy slick back hair. I think it's just, that's the way people should look. And the confidence that doing the sort of bazaars and the record fairs it then pushed me to think like I could open a shop and do this. You know, that's exactly what I've done. And for the last 2 years, I've been working 7 days a week, cutting hair all day. And it's because of the studio that gave me that sort of like confidence boost and that kind of like belief in myself. You know, just somebody else going like, you're actually good at this and you can make this work. You can make it happen. Again, I have them to thank and blame for me not having days off and me being busy and now being, you know, fairly successful with it.
And this is going to sound oh my God, this is going to sound so horrible. How's that been affected by the lockdown, running the business?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword on it. It's obviously business is terrible. Like, there is no, because I've not been allowed to open. But the great thing is the amount of people that now need a haircut.
Yeah, I've been getting my sister.
I've been getting my mom.
It's a rough job. Yeah, it's a rough job, but.
So I'm really excited for like reopening, and obviously everyone's going to need a haircut because everybody looks interesting.
Horrible.
It's been really nice in the, you know, the amount of people that have messaged me, customers and friends, and they're either showing me how badly they've cut their own hair, or they're like, "Look, I'm growing this thing." And it's that kind of belief that they believe in my art and stuff like that as well. It's so humbling to just be like, to know I can make a difference to people.
Oh, excellent. That's brilliant.
We can go buy a t-shirt. You can buy a t-shirt during this. There's a festival that I go to in Spain every year, Psychobilly Meeting. And they are printing t-shirts for businesses that have been affected by the virus, and they're basically printing all this stuff without charging me. And they'll ship it out to you. They look after absolutely everything for us. And it's also, I didn't have the money to do, and I wouldn't have been able to afford to do it. So they're helping that way. And if anybody wants to support me, support them, and to have a really cool looking t-shirt, go buy one.
Excellent.
Where can people find you online?
So there's obviously like Instagram and Facebook are the greatest things in the world for this day and age. Nobody doesn't have one. You know, everybody can find somebody on. So Instagram, it's Ray Gunn's Chop Shop. Facebook, again, it's Ray Gunn's Chop Shop. And just message me. That's the quickest way to get through to me, because generally during this as well, I'm sat on my laptop. So I will get your message. It's not like a normal day-to-day thing where I'm working constantly and then, you know, it's only on the train or the bus home that I realise like, oh, I didn't message them back. So you will get an instant response from me.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for this, for doing this today. It's been absolutely great talking to you. I really, really hope that business gets back, and after all this, do okay.
That's a really amazing outro, James. Though. Yeah. That's the best outro you've given.
Likewise. Thank you guys.
Don't worry about it. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.